Are you always coming up with ideas? Do you marvel at successful business owners? Do you hate being told what to do? Ever take things apart just to see how they work? Are you a dreamer? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, this podcast is for you. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Pro Tapes and Specialties is the world leader in tape manufacturing and specialty conversion with over 40 years of experience. In addition to our pro brand of high-quality specialty adhesive tapes, we provide contract converting services that help improve your profitability, streamline your supply chain, and reduce inventory cost. We offer the most complete range of converting capabilities in the industry, such as cloth tape, double-coated tape, specialty tape, paper tape, masking tape, vinyl tape,
carton sealing tape, adhesive transfer tape, duct tape, foam tape, electrical tape, filament tape, foil tape, reflective tape.
And the tape just keeps on rolling. Visit us online today at www.protapes.com or call us at 800-345-0234. Pro Tapes, it's just how we roll.
Okay.
Welcome to another fantastic episode of the Entrepreneur Enclave, Life's Coming Attraction. I am your host, Kevin Wortham. Listen, this young lady is tremendous. When I tell you, Kerri, welcome to the platform. How are you this morning?
I am well, thank you.
Good. So we're going to jump right into this. I know that you're taking time out of your busy schedule, because normally you would be at your new spot. And what's the name of your new spot and the location?
And my new salon is Sakile. Sakile LLC, but this is the studio of Sakile. So okay. Sakile Studio, yeah.
And what does that name mean?
Sakile is a West African name, which means peace and beauty. And it's actually my youngest daughter's middle name.
Okay. And so why did you want to pick and choose that name for the name of the salon?
Because that's what it exemplifies.
Okay.
Yeah, that is it. When you walk into that space, it's your time to just bask in peace and beauty.
Yes. And so how long have you been embarking on this journey to do this salon?
Well, this salon... This salon was actually, it wasn't planned at all. I was retired.
Okay.
And I went back into business, because I opened my first salon in 98.
Okay.
So yeah, this is post retirement because my clients couldn't find anybody else space.
Wait, hold up. So,
yeah.
So you decided to retire.
Mm-hmm.
Your clients that you had built a welcome and a wonderful relationship with would not let you retire because they couldn't find anyone else.
They couldn't find anyone else.
Wow. And you decided to come back. Wow.
I came back.
So now, well, first of all, congratulations again. And that speaks volumes for your service and what you do and how they feel about you. But my next question is, what are you going to do different so that you don't have to retire?
That's a good question. And some of that I can answer. I'm always looking at what's next.
Yes.
While being present.
Yes.
I started looking for someone to mentor. I was actually mentoring someone. And that was the plan.
Okay.
That was the plan.
Gotcha.
And that relationship didn't work out.
Okay.
So I am always looking for people who are up and coming that want to expand and want to continue their practice.
Yes.
Because it's time for me to move on. Now is my season of providing a platform for others that are coming up.
Yes.
So I'm looking now for someone that wants to learn and wants to expand and wants to take over this this business for me, because it's time for me. It's 25 this year. It's 25 years.
Wow! Congratulations! Wow! So you started your first business the same time that MOB started, right? Because
in '98.
Well, we started in '97.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start from the beginning, because I just mentioned minding our business, so we got to go there first. I believe that's where I first met you. Your daughter, your youngest daughter, was not in '98, but your youngest daughter, I met you through your youngest daughter being enrolled in our program.
I did. Yep, that's how we met.
Yep. And which school was she attending at that time?
We were in Bordentown.
Okay.
So so she was that middle school?
Yeah, it was middle. It was like middle school for our summer camp.
Yes.
Okay.
So we were in Bordentown. We were living in Bordentown.
Okay. And so I remembered, I think I still have some of her videos when we did our first video with her. She was doing duct tape.
Yes. Yeah.
And when she first came to the program and she talked about doing, duct tape materials and T-shirts and a dress and everything, I was blown away. And I remember, and matter of fact, our whole podcast is sponsored by Pro Tapes. I remember your daughter, I want to say, had a chance to meet Ed Miller, who's the sponsor of Pro Tapes, and he does all the duct tape. So I think he said, as much duct tape as you need, I'll get that to you.
She's super creative.
What? Because at that time, I think there was a young lady on Facebook or in the news that could not afford a dress. And so her and her girlfriend got together and they made their prom dress out of duct tape.
Yep.
And then I guess a few months later, I meet your daughter, and just creativity abound. And when she said that was her business, I mean, she did the bow ties and everything. And I think she actually did. And I think she actually won the business plan. So after this episode is over. She did. Yep. So after this episode is over, I'm going to dig up that footage and put that back on Facebook, because that was wonderful, man. Just creative. So quickly, what is your daughter Kamara doing now?
Kamara is working for the state right now. She finished TCNJ.
Yes.
She actually gave the commencement speech for TCNJ.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh
yes,
my
sir.
God. I must have been under a rock. I would have
Oh
loved
my
to have heard that.
God.
Wow.
Yeah. So she made a very good impression there. She went on to work for CHOP right afterwards.
Yes.
And now she is with the state. So she is still here in Trenton. We live in Trenton now. So so she's here and doing very well. Yeah, and that is Kamara Sakile.
Wow. Now, what's going on with her entrepreneurial desires? Are we looking for her to come back out and do something entrepreneurially?
Probably not.
Okay.
That is not what she's interested in right now. She is a psychological researcher.
Yes.
She's doing other things.
Okay. I mean, the entrepreneurial arena is wide and vast. Can she start her own?
It is.
She can start her own firm. That's all.
She really could. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay, so you start your first business, and
that was my first hair salon. I was right. Yeah. So I was I was a makeup artist when I did that. So I was an independent makeup artist. And I was actually pregnant with Kamara when I started the salon. Yes, wow. So she's still there. Still there. Yeah, she was still there.
Wow.
So I was pregnant with her, and I opened the first salon in Trenton, a natural hair salon, the first one in Trenton.
Wow.
And and it just grew from there.
Now let me ask this question, because I am just like clueless now. What's the difference between natural hair and I guess unnatural hair in terms of your process or what you do?
So I work with natural hair the way that it grows out of the scalp. I don't use any chemicals.
Okay.
And in addition to that, I also don't straighten hair.
Okay.
So that would still be considered natural, but I don't do that. I work with curls.
So
I love curls.
So I'm saying, like, if someone comes to you
Mm-hmm.
and they have an appointment,
Mm-hmm.
even when you shampoo the hair, that's all chemical free.
All chemical free.
Wow.
I mean, and I mean not to distort the curl pattern of the hair.
Yes.
So, yes, there are chemicals that are in shampoos. I mean, that's how most things are formulated.
Yes.
But they are all natural, herbal-based, sustainable products. That's just the nature of my salon,
Gotcha.
is that it's eco-friendly. So, no silicones, no sulfates. Everything is natural. And I still make a lot of the products as well, but the shampoos I don't make.
Gotcha.
So I am not altering the curl pattern of my client's hair.
And so
no chemical relaxers and things like that.
So you've seen the business grow over the past 5 years. Now, a lot of women just want to go natural now.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah. And so
when I started, it just didn't exist, and actually, all of my, I'm a licensed cosmetologist, and going through school was really challenging because even my instructors told me that I would never make money doing natural hair. Like, no one thought that was going to be successful.
Wait, even your instructors were telling you that?
Even my instructors were telling me that.
That was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. But they since apologized. So I did get a formal apology when I went back to get people to train to work in that salon.
Yeah, wow! But what a wonderful way to be trained by you, by your instructor.
Yeah.
You'll never make any money in this field. Not doing that.
Well, you have to consider, cosmetology school doesn't do natural hair. So I didn't learn nothing that I'm doing now. I learned in cosmetology school. I just needed a license.
Gotcha.
So I spent money in a year, a whole lot of money, just to get a license to reject everything that I learned.
Wow.
But that was the industry that now, I believe they're a little more expensive, not much.
Okay.
They're a little more expensive. That's why it's so important for me to train people.
Yes. No,
because they're not getting it there.
But let me ask this question so I understand this clearly.
Mm-hmm.
You just needed them for their license.
I just needed the piece of paper so that I could legally work in the state of New Jersey.
Okay.
That's it.
And there was no other place around that was teaching your kind of craft.
No, it didn't exist.
Wow. Now, are there schools that do natural hair now?
In New Jersey, not that I'm aware of, but I also am not seeking it. So,
Gotcha.
Not that I'm aware of. I will say this: when I opened the shop last year, I now see that they have a license for just doing natural hair. I believe that's what I saw. That's not what I have, but so that leads me to believe that they are starting to teach it. I wouldn't trust it though.
Gotcha.
I'm just being honest. I mean, who's teaching that in that system?
Yeah.
From what perspective are they teaching it? Because the only thing I learned about black hair in cosmetology school is that I needed to straighten it. Straight up. Yeah. I'm not even joking. Like, that literally is what was in the book, was a picture of a black woman with straight hair telling me that my hair was over curly and unruly.
Wow. So,
they couldn't wait to get rid of me because I rejected all those terms and said that they weren't allowed to say it.
Wow. Now, so my next question is, when did the natural hair phase, when did that take hold?
First of all, it's not a phase.
Okay.
What would you
call it then? So I'm correct with my terminology.
It's an uncovering. I think women are just coming home to themselves.
Okay.
And it's been very challenging. I mean, there are laws that, as you can see, that are being developed to be more inclusive. It's unfortunate that we have to have a law to wear our hair natural in the workplace.
Yes.
But when I had the shop, the name of the shop was Matsamela Designs at the time.
Yes.
And when I had that shop, many of my clients, police officers, flight attendants, because everybody came to me. There was really no place for them to go.
Wow.
So, all of these people would come and pay me to do their hair, but then they would have to wear a wig to go to work because they could not work with their hair natural at that time.
Wow.
And it's what you see now.
Yes.
Is a totally different deal.
Okay.
It is just, and I've been doing it so long that it's not even big for me.
Got you.
So I have to remind myself that this is very new still for a lot of people.
Yes.
And so I have to be patient and, be mindful of that when I'm speaking to people.
And so you would say that would be like the past 10 years, right?
I guess. I really haven't been watching.
Okay.
I've been in my little bubble and I'm just doing what I do.
Got you.
And waiting for the world to catch up. I haven't really been time stamping it because it didn't matter to me. I was still going to do what I do for the people who wanted it.
Yes. Yes. Wow. Wow. So this is like real liberating for women now, just to have that other option.
It is,
Yeah.
or to have that option validated, because
Yes.
they always had the option.
Got you.
But to have it be accepted.
Now let's get political.
Sure.
What do you think happened, political or policy wise, to allow that to take effect? Because we had to change some laws.
Social media.
Okay.
The fact that it was that more people saw it.
Okay.
That more people saw it and more people were able to complain publicly.
Okay.
I think that's what did it, because it was happening for a long time.
Gotcha.
But when you started seeing, kids getting expelled from school for wearing braids, or the young man who, I don't know, somebody cut this young boy's locks at a wrestling match or something, which was insane. Yeah. Those things were happening all the time.
Okay.
But you just didn't know about it.
Yes.
So once it became, more visible, then, quite honestly, Dove took a hold of it. I think it was Dove that created the, I don't know, whoever started this Crown Act. There's a whole lot of stuff that corporations have taken a hold to.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember that it was something like a championship match.
Mm-hmm.
And the referee said that he could not participate because of his hair.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he had worked so hard, he had allowed, if I recall correctly, he had allowed them to cut his hair so that he could participate in the match.
Mm-hmm.
And then he turned around and won.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
but at
crazy.
what cost?
Yeah. Yeah.
At what cost?
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I remember, that was painful.
Yes.
That was painful for me.
Yes.
I've watched my own daughters struggle through school with their hair and things and the teasing, because we went to school in Bordentown.
Yes.
I got this little chocolate child. She had locks at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And, she caught it. She combed her hair out. She combed her locks out when she went to high school because she just didn't want it anymore.
Okay.
And, it's been a lot for a lot of people. For me, I've always just created safe spaces for myself, so I didn't have to deal.
Yes.
Yeah. But not everybody has that ability.
Yeah, because it seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, that I'm probably going to make up some terminology, like the freestyle of your hair, that was big, like in the late 60s and the late 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point it went underground again, or became a certain segment of our culture, of our population.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe around 2000, you started to see individuals started to want to take control of every space that they were occupying, and the hair started to becoming important once again, right?
Right. Yeah, that's about right.
Because I remember my mother's going to kill me. I remember my mother had beautiful hair,
Mm-hmm.
and then at one point I'm like, "Mommy, when did you get another hat?" She went to her wig, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then her first foray back out to freedom was like the S curl or the Jerry curl. And then when that faded out, she says, "I'm going all natural, no more chemicals." And then she wore her little poofy afro again.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, wait. So this is typically happening with women of color, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And there's okay, and that's one movement.
Yes.
Now there is another movement to actually wear your hair just in your natural curls, to not have to twist it or lock it or put it, in a style per se.
Gotcha.
But to just wear their hair literally how it grows out of your head.
Yes.
Like the fact that we even have to have this conversation is ridiculous to me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But it's just, we're still having these conversations and laws are still being made. So my only, my contribution to that is to just provide a space where people can come and have it done and not have people look at them crazy.
Yes.
Because when I first started, the first place I worked in a barbershop and was the only person doing natural hair. And my client would have to walk past other stylists to get to me. And I could see and hear the whispers, she need to do something with that. And I mean, this was back in 97.
Wow.
So it's like, it's insane. So I knew then, I was still in hair school, and I knew then that I had to have my own place. So I worked at that barbershop for 3 months. That was it. 3 months until I graduated, and, in 2 weeks later, I had a salon, no plan. I was just like, I'm not doing that.
Wow.
I can't work for someone else. So I created a salon and, got somebody to manage it for me, or say they manage it for me. But it's like, and I had to create a space. I mean, Kevin, that's what I do. I create a safe space for women.
Wow. Now I want to hold that thought, but jump ahead.
Sure.
Because you had mentioned that you were doing your own products, creating your own products. When did that come about, and how?
Well, I started making products at that salon. So I started making products in 98.
Because the
98.
The products that you needed to use didn't exist, or
they were just straight crap.
Gotcha.
That was out. I mean,
appreciate the
just
honesty.
crap.
Okay.
I mean, for real. Because again, everything was created for relaxed hair, or processed hair in some way. So I made my own. At that time, I made everything. I made my own shampoos, conditioners, oils. I made everything. And I was also, at the time, Lisa had just started Carol's Daughter.
Yes.
And so she wasn't big then. She was still working out of, I think she had just opened a Brooklyn store. So she was just coming out of her house.
Okay.
And so I was carrying her stuff. I mean, she was the only one making, that was genuine and like authentic to me.
Yes.
And there was a couple of people with a black face on the box in the store, but that don't mean nothing.
Exactly. Exactly.
But yes, I was carrying her stuff for the body because I didn't even like her stuff for hair either. So I didn't. Okay. And but body wise, I just wanted to support somebody else that was doing something.
Okay.
So, because that's always been big with me, is collaboration and just supporting someone that I see that's moving from their heart and making something that's good for folks. And so, collaborated with Lisa and yeah, so that started then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, so you're carrying her product, doing hair, and at any point did you think about let me franchise this concept that I'm doing on my
Nope.
You never thought about
Nope.
that?
No. My whole purpose for doing that was to give people a place to come.
Okay.
I honestly, I really, oh my gosh, Kevin, it was so lucrative and so overwhelming. And, I had a 6-month waiting list.
What?
And I was working in there by myself with a baby. It was insane.
Wait, time out.
Because I was it. Yeah.
So, and so at this time you were doing this in Trenton, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you had a 6-month waiting list because
I had a 6-month waiting list within the first year of my business.
Wow. So there was no one in Mercer County. There was no one who was doing the next space. Like
none.
So there wasn't even in Philadelphia.
There was none.
Wow.
Well, you know what? I don't know what was in Philly. It could have been.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody was in Philly. So this, and I think Sarita was. Yeah. So there were places in Philly.
Okay.
And of course there were places in New York.
Yes.
But even that.
Okay.
The places in New York, a lot of them were braid focused. There were braiding shops. I don't even do braids, Kevin. I don't do braids either.
Wow.
I do natural hair. I don't do extensions. I don't do any of that.
Wow.
I'm really taking care of your hair as it grows and keeping it healthy and helping you attain your personal hair goals for you. I don't bring me no hair magazines, pictures, none of that. We're going to work with what comes out of your head and we're going to create something just for you.
Now, will you line somebody up if they need a haircut?
I can.
Okay.
Yeah, I can. I'm not a barber.
Okay.
That is not my, I'm not a master in barbering. I do things that I do well.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
But I can do it. I know how to.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, but I love it, man. You I just do whatever comes out of your head. I don't add stuff to it.
Nah, because what comes out of your head is beautiful. And you know what? And there's enough people doing those other things.
Yes.
I do what I do. I don't try to do everything.
Got you.
I do what I do.
Got you.
So yeah, that's what it is. So yeah, you had places in like Hammock Kinks, and there's a couple of places in New York. And then you had like Sarita Duafe. I think she was doing her thing in Philly.
Yes.
But yeah, there was nobody in that area. So,
but 6
and I was doing a lot of
months.
transition stuff.
Yes.
So even then, a lot of people weren't natural and they didn't want to cut all their hair off.
Yes.
So I was doing things like straw sets and, just helping people transition into natural hair. That was the bulk of my clientele at the time, was helping people transition into natural.
And what was your time? Were you 7 days a week, 6 days a week?
I was 7 days a week when I started.
What? And still 6
with 2 kids.
What?
With 2 babies, my oldest daughter was 4 years older. So, I had 2 children,
yes,
single parent.
Yes.
And for a long time, I was working in there by myself until I hired my assistant, which is my best friend now, because she saved me from that environment. And, I was there for 5 years. I got burnt out and I was like, this is enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
much.
crazy. 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Waiting list. And you were 7 days a week. And so typically what would be your hours?
I was probably working like 12-hour days at the time.
That's
so yeah,
crazy.
like 8 to 8, it was nuts.
Wow.
It was nuts. But that's where I was.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
I just wanted to accommodate everybody.
Yes.
I just wanted to accommodate everybody.
And so
and
you still have some of that following now, correct?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've had some of the same people for 25 years.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
It is.
That's
We're like a
beautiful.
family. These people helped raise my daughter.
Okay.
You know, because Kamara was in the shop with me for the first year.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, this is family, Kevin. This is not, you know, because I've always worked one-on-one. I've never double booked.
Yes.
You always had to. I work in a way that creates a level of intimacy.
Yes.
This is not just me doing hair. These are relationships. Because especially at that time,
yes,
my clients couldn't get that anywhere else. So for that hour and a half, like that time was just about them, and they could totally be themselves.
Okay.
And that was priceless at that time. I mean, we have more spaces that where we feel we can be free now.
Yes.
But back then,
Wow. That's crazy, but that's wonderful, and that's a beautiful thing. Thank you. And so,
yeah.
and so, what was their response when you said, "I'm going to retire"? What was their response?
Well, it was a bit of a problem.
Okay.
Gotcha. It was a bit of a problem.
Okay.
And mainly because, which leads me to the next thing that I'm doing. It was mainly a problem, Kevin, because a lot of them didn't know how to do their own hair. Because if you think about, I mean,
they just trust you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, I'm gonna say it, and they know who they are. Some of my clients didn't even own a comb. Seriously, they just didn't. They didn't. You know what I mean? They didn't.
Wow.
For real.
Wow.
So that leads me to, you know, another thing that I'm doing in my current business is I'm doing classes, one-on-one classes, so that I can teach you how to do your hair. Because I think with the pandemic, folks learned that you need to know how to do your hair.
Exactly. Yes.
You do. Now, you don't have to do it if you don't choose to, but you should know how.
Yes.
You know, because a lot of people were struggling when things closed. I mean, struggling.
Wow.
So I was doing FaceTime calls and talking people through things. Seriously, they didn't know. Because, see, and the men especially, what y'all don't realize, you know, y'all can still get your hair cut.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With women, for most of our lives, we had relaxers.
Yes.
You know, anybody, you know, my age or older,
yes,
for most of your life, you probably had a relaxer. So even if you knew how to do your hair with a relaxer, you don't know how to do it natural.
Yes.
Totally different. And you never learned it.
Yes.
And what works for straight hair doesn't work for natural hair.
Got you.
Necessarily. So a big part of what I do is education. And there's so much misinformation. You know, some of the stuff people tell me from YouTube, when they come and sit in my chair, I'm like, where do you get that from? What is that?
Yeah.
Like, folks are getting rich, you know, off of misinformation out here.
Yes.
It's insane, the stuff that people are saying.
Wow.
And hair typing charts and all that foolishness. Like, you know, someone coming in telling me they got 4C hair. What is that? That's insanity to me. You move from one system of oppression where you're at the bottom and you create another one with natural hair where you're still at the bottom.
Yeah.
Why? Why did you do that? That's insane to me.
Yeah. So,
and it's all meant to profit off of us, because as Black women, we buy the most stuff. We are so busy trying to look better, be better, catch up, be seen, all these things from this place of lack, as if we are not the greatest thing ever created.
Yes.
And it's like people are profiting off of us left and right. And I just want to liberate us from that mindset. You almost got me cussing up in here. You are perfect.
Yes.
You are perfect and whole as is. Period.
Yeah. You know, that becomes a conversation, and I know that I'm going to have it on this platform, you know, because this is the Entrepreneur Enclave. You know, I want folks who start businesses to tell their unabridged story, but that is a touchy subject when you start talking about women in their hair and that level of oppression, right? Because one of the things that I don't understand is so on one level I understand the occasional, you know, wanting to get extensions in your hair because you're going to this special event, but now just to wear extensions all the time, I don't get that. I don't understand that, right? And the same thing with the eyelashes. Like, wow, and you're right, we are. You know, if it's not cosmetic, you know, because of medical conditioning, that's okay. But we just are trying to outdo ourselves. And why is that?
Hello? Wait, I missed something. You fell out a little bit.
No, I'm
you
saying.
You said if it's not cosmetic,
Yeah,
what did you say after that?
I'm just saying if it's not cosmetic, why do we do that? What's going on internally that we feel like we have to do that? What are we missing?
There's so many layers, Kevin. Okay. That's a conversation that's way beyond this time frame. There's so many layers, which is why I created the retreat.
Okay.
You know, to help us unpeel those layers.
Yeah. So there is such a thing as hair trauma.
Of course.
Okay. Wow.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. You got folks out here that won't come outside if their hair is not done.
Wow.
Like straight up, won't come outside. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And I celebrate beauty just across the board.
Yes.
You know, I celebrate beauty across the board. If you want to put extensions to your hair, that's fine. If you want to relax your hair, that's fine. I am not anti anything. I am pro woman and pro confidence.
Yes.
You know, as is. You know, when things are done like you said, cosmetically.
Yes.
Okay. But just know that you are pure perfection out the womb.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, anything else is an enhancement.
Yes.
You know, it's not necessary. And that's coming from someone who's in the beauty business.
Yes.
And I'll tell somebody in a minute, anything that I'm doing is an adornment to the beauty that you have already. I'm not creating anything.
Got you.
You are already that.
And you're right. That becomes a whole nother conversation for another time.
Mm-hmm. And that's more of the work that I'm doing, quite honestly.
Okay.
It's so much more than just hair.
Yes.
You know, that's the space that I'm creating is for those deeper conversations.
Got you. And so when did you start just doing the product? Because I know for a few years you were at the farmer's market selling your product.
Mm-hmm.
When did that come about?
I started because I had stopped making. I left the salon. Well, I closed the salon after 5 years because it was taking too much time away from my children.
Yes.
And so I bought a house in Bordentown and created a little studio space there where I could see private clients and be home with my kids.
Yes.
So I did that for 17 years. So I worked from home for 17 years.
Awesome.
Until my youngest was in her senior year in college. So I started, I've always made products for myself. Okay. I stopped selling products because I closed the salon. So I started making products for myself just because we have very sensitive skin. We eat a certain way. So therefore, naturally, I'm going to create things that work for our lifestyle, which is a more natural lifestyle.
Yes. So I was already doing that. But my clients were like, oh, what are you using? And why do you smell like that? And, you know, all of that. So, you know, and a couple of them were like, well, you need to sell this. And I'm like, I don't feel like that's too much. You know what I mean? Yes. Like I'm downsizing. I'm seeing a quarter of the clients that I was seeing at the shop. And
But then Maya, my oldest daughter, she wanted to go to a school in Massachusetts for high school. She wanted to go to boarding school.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's money.
Yes.
You know, she got a full ride tuition, but that's still money.
Yes.
So I actually started selling the products to pay for her being in boarding school.
Wow. Okay.
That's why I did that. That was the only reason why I decided to actually put that much effort into, you know, creating something.
Yes.
And then that took off. So people mad at me now because I'm not at the farmer's market. Like, people stay mad at me. I just can't sit down out here. I'm just trying to sit down.
Wow. But I mean, that's a good thing. That's a blessing. But you don't have any
It
chance.
is.
You don't have. Have you ever had the thoughts of going bigger?
I mean, there's some things in the work now.
Okay.
There's some things in the works now. But honestly, Kevin, I'm just now looking at any of this as a business.
Okay.
It's been 25 years. When I opened this space, it was the first time that I did a grand opening. First time I cut that red ribbon.
Yes.
It was the first time I did any of that because that wasn't my purpose.
Yes.
You know, I never considered myself a businesswoman. I really just, you know, was creating a space. I was creating community.
Wow.
And it happened to send my kids to boarding
wow.
college and all those things. So I just had a different reason for doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
But now it's a business.
So at that time, it was just, that was your motivation.
That was my motivation,
Okay.
you know? Yeah.
Now you got a different motivation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a businesswoman now.
Yeah. I even hear the change of tone in your voice now. I'm a businesswoman now. That's all
I'm
right.
a businesswoman now.
So listen, speaking of that, what advice would you give to a young businesswoman, a young entrepreneur looking to follow in their own personal passionate pursuit? What advice would you give?
Well, that you just said it.
Okay.
Follow your own.
Got you.
That is the best advice that I could give is know your why.
Yes.
The how will come.
Yes.
The how actually isn't that difficult when your why is clear. And keep it simple.
Yes.
I mean, I think that was the greatest advice ever given to me.
Got you.
Just keep it simple.
Yeah. That's the acronym KISS. Keep it simple.
Yeah, and that last one.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah. But that's it. But it's really important to stop looking at other folks.
Yes.
You know, I mean, there's a philosophy that some people have where you kind of model yourself after this and you don't have to reinvent the wheel and all that other kind of stuff. But I think for me, and I can only speak for me.
Yes.
I just listened to myself and I created what I would want.
Yes.
And as long as I have done that, I have been successful.
Got you.
I'm not necessarily, I will seek something. If I don't find it, I create it. And that's been the journey for me. You know, so it's about providing solutions for others as well as myself.
Yes.
And just sharing how I live. Okay. Anything that I'm doing this at home every day.
Got you.
I don't really have much of a separate, live, work, life type thing. Everything that I'm doing in work, I do that at home every day.
Got you.
That's what makes it easy for me.
Got you. Wow. So along this process, what have been some of the challenges though?
I really haven't had many.
Yeah.
I think, but if I had to name something,
okay,
my biggest challenge has been finding a successor.
Okay.
And that's really unfortunate.
Okay.
Anytime my clients, come to me and say, Kerri, it's really been difficult finding. And they'll try other people.
Yes.
And they'll say that it's, it's really hard. I can't find anybody out here. That saddens me. And I don't, because people need people.
Yes.
And I need to sit down.
Yeah.
But it just, I don't understand. And I don't expect people to be like me. Everybody has to be themselves.
Yes.
But I think what's missing in the industry is a level of professionalism. A level of professionalism, and just giving a crap. Like, if all you're in it for is the money, people feel that.
Well,
they just feel that.
In the beginning of our conversation, you said something. People were going to social media. And so I think that social media could be a plus and a minus, right? And I think
it can be.
And I think oftentimes now, because of social media, I remember during the pandemic, people were stuck, and just the number of informal businesses that started out, because people were saying, well, you're stuck at home. I have a business, I do catering. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How you do catering and you're not even licensed to sell food?
Yeah.
But they were utilizing, social media, right? I see people on social media now. They say they do hair out of their homes. Again, not even licensed, but they've seen someone else do it. They've got a little skill, but nowhere near the professionalism that they would need to have. And I think right now, I think that's where we are. Everybody goes to social media to get, as you said earlier, their own personal validation. And in a lot of cases, it's totally wrong.
But you know what, Kevin?
Yeah.
You got folks out here that's been licensed for years.
Yeah.
And the salon environment is just trash.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
I mean, it just is. And it's unfortunate because you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna say this. So I didn't grow up going to hair salons.
Yes.
I can still, I think before I opened my own, I may have gotten my hair done in a hair salon like 3 times in my entire life.
Gotcha.
I've always done my own hair.
Yes.
So hair, that wasn't a big deal for me. I've always done my own hair. So I didn't understand the culture of hair salons. I didn't understand that. So when I opened my salon and folks would come in, the first thing they would say, and it still blows my mind, like, oh, it's so clean in here. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, what is it supposed to be?
Yeah.
Is it not supposed to be clean? Like, where are you coming from?
Yes.
So, but again, I just created what I would want.
Yes.
And I did not look at anybody else to do that.
Got you.
And so, and then the thing was, they would come in for a consultation, and I would make it clear, your appointment's at 1:00. You need to be here because you're in the chair at 1:00.
Yes.
They would come in late. I would tell them they had to be rescheduled, and they're like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, you're late. And they're like, oh, well, I'm only 15 minutes late. Yeah, you're late. But they were coming from places where you would go and sit in there for hours.
Yeah.
And I never understood that. I had girlfriends, we would be late going to events because they getting their freaking hair done.
Yeah.
And that was insane to me.
Yes.
So that type of stuff, so when I say professionalism, that's not professional to me.
Yes.
But that has been the culture of hair salons for years. So my clients have never experienced that. If your appointment is at 1:00, you are in the chair at 1:00 and you are out of there at 2, maybe 2:30.
Yes.
People would be spending the night in hair salons. So just that type of difference,
Yes.
Once you've experienced that, you don't want to go back to that other way.
Yeah, and you know what? Now that you mentioned that, I recall some of the girls, and I'm like, why are you sitting in the salon for 8 hours? Didn't you have an appointment? Yes. I'm
That's
like,
insane to
wow.
me.
Yeah.
That's insane to me.
Yeah.
And I just, because I didn't grow up in that
Yes.
never was normal.
Yes.
So I've never created it. My clients have never experienced it in my space, and they never will. So yeah, but that's what's still out there. I don't even know how those places are allowed to survive.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
It's a culture. It's a mentality that, like,
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. And until you know that something else exists, that's what you think it is.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Now, we talked briefly about your challenges. Any regrets?
None.
Awesome. If you had to do this differently, what would you change?
Nothing.
Okay. Awesome. Where do you hope to be? I already know the answer, but I just want to hear it from you. Where do you hope to be 3 years or 5 years from now? Retired?
I don't, retirement is not, I'm always going to be doing something.
Yeah.
Community related.
So just evolving.
But yes, it's
Gotcha.
always evolving.
Yes,
but I will be, I can tell you this for sure. Okay. I will be in nature. I will not be in the city.
Okay.
I will be in nature, providing opportunities and experiences for people to experience nature.
Okay.
Because if we don't get back to nature, we are doomed.
Now say more about that, Kerri.
I can't.
Okay.
But I'm working on something where I'm going to have a space. Like I said, I create spaces for a living. That's what I do. That's my primary business.
Got you. I mean,
I will have it.
Yeah,
I will have a space.
We're going to be doing some hiking?
Yeah, I love hiking.
Okay.
I like hiking. But we're just going to be. We need to reconnect to nature if we're going to survive here.
Now why?
If we're going to evolve.
Now, why is that so important? Tell me why is that so important for you and for us?
I think that's just the natural order of things.
Okay.
That's just where time is leading us. Some of these things ain't complicated.
Got you.
It is time to get back to simplicity. It's time to become more sustainable and get off this grid.
Got you.
Unplug a little bit. Unplug a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're too connected to stuff that isn't real.
Got you. Okay. All right. Well, listen. I want to be the second person you tell once you tell somebody what this looks like, because you're always welcome back on the platform. And so, one more time, the name of your business and your location. Yes.
The name of my business is Sakile Studio.
Yes.
And that is spelled Sakile. And look, as I'm saying this, I got to go to my, I'm horrible with marketing and advertisement. You notice I don't advertise, right?
But you don't have to, right?
Yeah, I want people to find me who want me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of just being, out there for the masses, because I'm not for everybody.
I mean,
so
I think, it's organic the way you say you want it to be.
Yeah,
and so
that's
it's your clients sharing their information and their experience with someone else who's interested in experiencing you.
Yep. That's it. That's how it's grown for all these years. I love it.
So,
I love it.
You don't necessarily have to spend any money on marketing. You know. So
I can't hear you, Kevin.
Oh, I said.
What'd you say?
I said you don't necessarily have to spend any money on marketing. I think you're there already.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that works.
Right.
So I had to look at my schedule because I had to look up my address because I don't have it. Straight, I don't.
Like, where am
I really don't. I don't know the street address.
Yeah.
So I had to just look it up. But yeah, I'm in the Salon Suites building.
Yes.
At in Hamilton Marketplace.
Yes.
But the address is 430 Marketplace Boulevard, and that is Suite 305.
Awesome. Listen, this is fantastic. And this was a natural, organic conversation, just like you, just like your business. So thank you. Anything else, any other advice you want to share with the listening audience?
Just simplify.
Got you.
It's time to simplify. It's okay to rest. It's time to simplify. And for real, with any business, when your why is clear, the how will come.
Got you. So you knew early on that this is what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Got you.
All the things that I'm actually doing.
Yes. I
always knew who I wanted to be.
Yes.
All the things that I'm doing is just tools to make sure that I'm doing who I say I am.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
I just want to make sure that I am representing myself accurately.
Yes, and it's in its truest form.
Yes.
I love it. And I think that from the time that I've known you and your family, you have certainly done that.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you.
Listen, you are always welcome back on the platform. Thank you. Continued success. And I know we're going to talk again soon because this other idea of getting back to nature, I want to know all about that. I want to be the second one to give you exposure on that one, boy. Yeah. And
for sure.
And if it's got to do anything with camping, I would love to do some camping.
Yep, you got it.
I'll bring my natural cigars and my natural tequila.
You got it.
Kerri, thank you so much. Nothing but success. We'll keep in touch. All right?
Thank you, Kevin. Take care.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That concludes another episode of The Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. We hope you found this episode informative and enlightening. If you have any questions or comments about any of our episodes, please call 609-731-9311 or email kevin@minding-our-business.com. We look forward to joining us for our next one. Until next time.